Just want to wish a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone in the Cats Rats community. If you haven't joined us this week, I'm your host, Kirby Lupol, joined alongside special guest this evening, Nick Fairbanks from the Locked On Florida Panthers Network, as we call him here. Banksy, he's going to be joining us later on this week, upcoming with our Winter Classic live stream. So you guys make sure to tune in for that. We're kind of shorthanded here tonight. Cody is away. Nick's in Nashville. Caesar's away as well. So I'm going to be handling kind of production stuff here and going to throw it to Banksy. He's going to be answering a lot of your questions here as we go along. But let me throw it to you here first, Banksy, as I get up all the questions on the screen here. Wherever you want to start here with this one tonight, a lot to break down.
So number one, thanks for having me. Number two, I'm sorry for everybody that's got to listen to me tonight. And third, can we just play hockey, please? Like 5 minutes between whistles and all this, like that's great for the playoffs, but regular season right now, it's just not doing it. So that's what I think.
Well, how about the refs, like kind of in that third period there, letting things kind of develop? You could, I guess, you guys in the chat, let us know. Did the refs let it get out of hand early? Did they not set the tone? You know, what Tampa Bay is trying to do with their goon squad there, Banksy, is tie up Brad Marchand, take a trade-off with one of their AHL or fringe players. Tampa Bay fans get offended when you call them AHL or scrub players. But let's be real here, you know. Panthers, we get criticized for throwing guys out there like A.J. Greer and Jonah Gadjevich. I think A.J. Greer was kind of a semi-regular with the Calgary Flames. He wasn't just figuring it out in the minor leagues till he was 30 years old or whatever, like some of these Tampa Bay players that John Cooper's throwing in the lineup here. Let's give him a Lifetime Achievement Award for that stuff. But yeah, I thought in the third, Banksy, we did see hockey tonight, but I thought the extracurricular stuff got a little out of hand there in the third. I think Tampa Bay was the team that lost their cool tonight if you had to pick one team over the other.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could see it on their, Gensel was probably the top target, when he decided to take a shot at Greer. Kucherov, he does his thing. He falls and gets very, his body language is all over the place. It's not very positive. But tonight, looking at the numbers, 87 penalty minutes for the Lightning, only 49 for the Cats. So that'll be another thing that Bolts fans, unfortunately, will be looking at saying, hey, the refs are on your side. It's like, well, maybe don't take, chop blocks over at our defenseman for absolutely no reason, and then try to wrestle the refs right after. I mean, again, Sabourin was only pulled up to fight or at least stir things up, and he definitely did that. But I don't know if his job was effective tonight because the Panthers couldn't do anything offensively, especially on that power play where I think they were like, 1 for 8, 1 for 9, and that's how they lost this game.
Yeah, I was going to mention the power play numbers. I know Banksy in a minute here, so you're going to throw up some of the stats here. Before we do that, I do want to just get to a couple housekeeping items here. Just want to let everyone know, obviously, that have been following us here. You guys are always familiar with this, but just want to let everyone know you can subscribe to our channel as if you have not already. I think there's about 30% of you or so that do follow us that aren't subscribed. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like this video, along as our other videos that we're going to have upcoming this week. We're planning a Winter Classic podcast episode. Hopefully tomorrow we're planning on recording that. So check out for that. You can comment on this video. Helps with our algorithms. Appreciate all super chat donations. My apologies if I don't get to them right away here tonight. I'm just kind of manning everything here behind the scenes. So appreciate those super chats if they are coming in. You can buy a membership here, gold, silver membership, bronze as well. The gold and silver memberships, if you do upgrade, we'll mention about our Matthew Tkachuk contest that we are running right now a little bit later on. You can gift a membership to people in the community and as well access to many other great perks here. So just want to get that in there, Banksy. But yeah, let's kind of get into the power play numbers here, Banksy, and maybe like I know you talked about this with Armando a lot in the Locked On Network where this game was lost. Tampa Bay afforded the Panthers so many opportunities by being undisciplined, but the Panthers had to make them pay a little bit more on the power play, which they didn't end up doing. I thought, ironically, though, the best power play of the night by the Panthers was that 4-minute double minor. They did almost everything but score. Then they had a couple power plays, I believe, after that, and they didn't capitalize on those opportunities.
No, they didn't, and I have to agree with you that the 4-minute power play is the best they looked. Everything, but the kitchen sink went towards Vasilevsky. But you got to give credit to Tampa as well. They were in the lanes with their sticks and also their bodies. I mean, they blocked a ton of shots tonight. So not really, I guess, all of Panthers' faults. I mean, just Tampa put on a defensive clinic when it came to the penalty kill. So after that, I mean, you got to start looking at your personnel too. I know I texted you about Sam Oskevich right now. He had a few good looks. It's just, to me, it's starting to wear on me that I don't know if he's going to be a finisher anymore. And, how much size are we going to give up? Is he going to be one of those guys that we can depend on? And I know we talked about this as well. Is this somebody that we're going to sit for the playoffs? And if he does, what are we, why are we doing that? Or what are we going to do to, I guess, fix that? So with the power play, again, so much better with Seth Jones, been the best defenseman all season. Aaron Ekblad still gives me nightmares. I mean, that contract, I know we talked about it a lot, that contract, although he took a discount, we saw why he's getting paid that much with his slow athleticism and inability to catch a guy like Jake Gensel.
Yeah, and I just want to add to this. I want the chat to let us know on Mackie Samoskevich your views, what Banksy was feeling tonight and different things like that. Because I think it was a bit of a polarizing game by Mackie. I think there's might be some people on one side of the ledger that really liked his game tonight, and other people are like, well, you have to be able to finish plays and different things that Paul Maurice is asking within the system. A guy that I really liked tonight, Toulouse Ryan. I think he was the best Panther player. He was crushing Tampa Bay players out there, making them pay for plays. Again, Etu Lusterine, I always say this, like he could have 2-3 goals tonight. He's not a goal scorer, and they were trying to set him up as one, side of the net there. Vasi makes that save there. Etu's never going to be at a high finishing rate there. I needed Sam Reinhart in those positions tonight. I want to know from the chat, and I want to know from you too, Banksy. Could Sam Reinhart done a little more tonight, or are guys just not getting him the puck again in positions that he needs it? There's not Matthew Tkachuk right now on the ice for this team. There's not Alexander Barkov on the ice for this team. One guy's a louder leader. One guy's a little bit quieter by action. I think Brad Marchand, we know what he is. But does Sam Reinhart have to come into the room sometimes and say, guys, I am the guy right now on this team. You need to get me the puck in positions where I can succeed, in that bumper position, in that bumper spot there. I think he was fighting it a little bit tonight. I don't think he had his best game, but you have to get your best goal scorer chances and positions to score out there on the ice.
Definitely. And, he was in his bumper position, but I don't think he really had any other chances tonight that, outside of being shorthanded, it's just, you're not going to be able to open him up if, the other team is going to be basically bearing down on him. So, I mean, you have Sam Bennett that's there playing the low bumper part as well. And to me, unless he's taking the puck to the net, to me, I don't really trust his passing too much. Reinhart is the reason why Marchand even scored the goal on the power play tonight anyways. It was a nice passing play, but Reinhart made that happen. But he is just not getting the looks that we're used to. And the Panthers have to find a way to either open up the bumper play or they need to move him a little bit towards the other side, in my opinion, to get his shot off because he has one of the best shots on the team.
Yeah, and a good point there, Banks. I think the team's doing a good job on a little bit reversing it up high there to Jones, which he is, again, our defenseman that you said earlier that can keep pucks in.
Yep.
Ekblad's out there. He makes that nice passing play to Etu in the slot area with that little deflection play. But then later on, Ekblad makes a play where he fumbles the puck at the blue line, gets beat kind of going back in his own zone. So every one play that Ekblad's making, I'm noticing like 2-3 bad plays or really off plays. So it's like, okay, you're making that one play there, but then you're not making the other plays, whether it's in the neutral zone or defensively. Like you don't know what Aaron Ekblad you're going to get in any of the three zones, which is very scary to me. Where there was chances tonight where, yes, I think Seth Jones and others you can look at themselves here and say, hey, this was a little bit on us for not executing, because the shot attempts after 40 minutes were exactly the same for both of these hockey clubs. Tampa Bay had 7 more shots on net. So if you look earlier in the night, Panthers with their shot attempts, and I would say they probably had the more high danger and the better quality chances, not getting them on towards the net. And that's Seth Jones. That's the guys in the higher bumper slot area. Sam Bennett that we talk about often here on our channel, not hitting the net. I think he did a not bad job of it there in the third, Sam Bennett tonight. But again, having to be able to get those shots on net. But this good comment here from our great moderator, David T. I wanted your take on this. One thing I didn't agree with the Panthers broadcast tonight, if that's the broadcast you had, Banksy, that's the one I had tonight. They said we were doing a good job on Kucherov. I thought Kucherov got off from the start of the night throughout the night. Too much time, too much space, not taking plays away from him. I think that's going to be the big difference when Matthew Tkachuk comes back in the lineup, taking time and space away from those skilled guys. Even Braden Point late in the night had a lot of chances in tight there where Bob had to make that one nice save.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cooch. Outside of the third period where he didn't play a lot, and yeah, he did get that empty netter. He was present. He laid that big hit on Mikola, which I think in a way kind of put the Panthers back on their feet a little bit. But I guess if he's gonna have one game, I'd rather be in the regular season in a game like this. Uh,
Yeah.
and from there, I mean, if he's going to continue to, I guess, score empty netted goals or he's going to make things happen, the Panthers have to find a way to get back to, I guess, the structure they had in the playoffs in order to cut his passing lanes off or even his shooting lanes. And maybe Bob will be, more comfortable to square him up because I think on the first goal, it was just a lucky tap on the back of the backhand of the stick, and then obviously the empty netted goal. So, um, you know, he made some plays tonight, and it benefited them. But we'll see what happens if it happens again in April.
Yeah, Banksy. I just thought he had more ice than what we've allowed him to have over the last couple of years. I'm not just thinking of the playoffs; I'm thinking of the regular season as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a better job on Braden Point as time's gone along in this Battle of Florida too, where he's always got that time in that high slot area on the power play. Remember, the power play for Tampa used to be automatic, and yeah, they're missing a guy that was in the prime of his career at one point in Steven Stamkos. That power play and makeup has really changed, but they've got a guy back there in Radish that's taking over for Hedman right now, and they said he's been doing a good job on the power play. So I think the Panthers penalty kill, you're seeing the numbers come up here. I think I just posted them earlier down there in the bottom of the screen. Top 10 penalty kill right now in the NHL, right around that 90 percentile mark. So we're doing a really good job on Tampa Bay when we play them, even these regular season matchups. I just thought we were letting them get off a little bit too much tonight. And of course, the power plays skew to us more. Those were penalties that Tampa was faking. Like those are
Yes.
rightful penalties. You could even argue the one late in the game Atu gets taken down there. Like, what are they going to give us? Our 11th and 12th and 13th power play of the night, right? So I think that's where the refs are like, okay, enough is enough, kind of here, right? But those are undisciplined penalties by Tampa Bay where we have to capitalize on them because we're doing a good job at the other end of the rink, Banksy. When we take a penalty, Bennett takes 2 tonight, Ekblad takes 2 tonight. Ekblad did not like those penalties at all. I think the team killed off both of those, if I'm not mistaken. Did a really good job on killing those off because Ekblad, you're our number one right-handed shot defenseman on that top pairing. You go to the penalty box, you're supposed to be on that penalty kill. Now you got Jones and Forsling out there. Jones is now eating up more minutes early in the night, where he's accumulating those minutes as the night goes on the power play, how many power plays we get, and he's leading the team in ice time in the last month or two here and for the season now. So Ekblad taking those penalties, it just starts to gas our defense back there. Our bottom pairing, we can get into this, Banksy, after this comment here. I didn't like how they came out and played tonight. This is why I think we need to upgrade the blue line that I've tweeted out about and things like that. But I just want to get to this comment here from Cinema. Next 2 games against Capitals and Habs. These are 2 teams we struggled with last year in the regular season. Now, this is a new season. Habs are going through a little bit of a roster shakeup within the goaltending position. They're getting some good goaltending from the rookie Fowler now, but they're a team that swept the Panthers last year in 4 games. So be interesting with this schedule ahead here a little bit, Banksy, if you want to comment on that. And then maybe a little bit of comments on that bottom pairing, which they were frustrating me in that first period tonight.
So about Montreal, this is the time to catch them. I know you said that they're getting good goaltending by Fowler, their rookie goaltender, but they just picked up Deneau again for a second rounder, and I think they're just trying to solidify their center position so that it's more of a strong suit rather than a weakness right now. So they're doing things the right way, and I think St. Louis got them playing right. I just don't think right now. I think last year they were above. Way above where they should be. I know you picked them this year, to make the playoffs.
Second in the Atlantic, especially at the beginning of the year. They've fallen back a little bit further than I thought they would, but they started off really hot and then kind of dipped.
They did, and I think they were still riding high after last season, and why shouldn't they? I mean, they swept the Panthers and they played very well, but I think one thing the Panthers can definitely look into now is that, hey, this is going to be the game before the Winter Classic. Let's go in with the win. Let's take advantage of a team that's probably not 100% right now, and then you have the Capitals here that they play a tough game. I mean, they outlasted Montreal last year. I think what was it, 5 or 6 games?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So they can play the grit game. So Florida better come to play, and maybe Ovechkin doesn't touch the puck enough, and the Panthers skate away with that one. But final comment I have here: bottom pairing, get the puck deep. I don't care anything else, if you're going to carry the puck, your number one job is to get it deep and then change. Belinskis caused the goal tonight because I don't know if he hit a Tampa Bay player or if he hit a Panther player, but he
Yeah,
caused a turnover.
I think a Tampa player diagonal shoot in doesn't get it deep there. Thanks.
No, and
this is a
you got
comment
to,
to Adonis here on the bottom of the screen. Attention to the details. But go ahead.
yes. No, I was going to say, like, that play, you're making it harder on yourself. Just do the simple play, get it down on your strong side, get it down, and let your guys actually fight for the puck. I mean, the Panthers are winning some battles tonight. I mean, Brad Marchand was a monster winning battles and actually taking bolts with him. Lundell was doing well. I know AJ Greer was doing well tonight as far as like taking on multiple bolts, but number one job of the third pairing is to eat minutes so that the top four doesn't have to, I guess, labor so much, although Ekblad's taking those penalties, and get the puck deep. Play simple, play good hockey, and we're not getting it. I'm not going to say Petrie. Petrie's been okay, but it's just, again, Belinskis, I think, is reverting again back to where he was.
Yeah, and fans are like, well, they're so impressed by how he's playing. And I even commented on that. I use him as a little bit of my whipping boy, as kind of that utility guy that I think sometimes he's being gifted, really premium spot on a Stanley Cup championship level team coming alive and played really good when he came back in after being healthy scratch. But he's reverting back to where he was early in the season after Kulikov went down. And then we go with the Petrie Belinkas pairing. And then Belinkas isn't playing well. That's when they bring in Sabrango off of waivers. He comes in the lineup. His bad game was against Tampa as well. And that kind of got seen Sabrango drop out of the lineup there for multiple games in a row. So it's just like we're using that rotating door right now with those guys. And the fans, they like to pile on Jeff Petrie. I didn't like his game tonight. There's been games of late that I haven't liked of his game as well. But again, like, what do you expect from him when he's playing with a youngster in Sabrango? He's playing with a utility role player in Belinkas. And I think fans get ahead of themselves, Banksy, when they see Belinkas put together 2, 3, 4 good games, like, oh, we've got something here, right? That's a very small sample size.
It definitely is, and defensemen take a lot longer to actually develop. Now, Belinskis is what? Is he like 26, 27, around there?
Yeah, something like that. He's more of a veteran age player. He's not quite 29, 30. But
yeah, so to me, he is what he is.
yeah.
He's a seventh, eighth guy that you're going to have on a team. I mean, it's generous that he's even playing in 6 right now, but we don't have anything with him. I'll just flat out, we don't have anything with him. The Panthers need to find a piece out there that hopefully that they'll be able to obtain to replace him, because again, we can't keep doing these turnovers. We can't have somebody who's not strong on the puck or is scared of contact. I mean, he's been able to throw some hits and take some contact, but you can just tell that he gets worn down as the game goes on. And from there, that's when you start making mistakes, and that's when you start turning the puck over, and that's when you start losing your ice time. It puts more pressure on the top four, and from there, the hill just keeps getting deeper and deeper.
Yeah, and Adonis has a comment on the screen. I don't mind Forsling just putting pucks on net because some of our guys have a hard time doing that.
Yeah.
I just don't think you can expect a lot of offense from Forsling, but that's not why I put this up on the screen either. I want to talk about the top 4 physicality or lack thereof. When Seth Jones is your most physical guy right now, currently on that back end, within your top 4, you could even say within the top 6, you need to really look at that and evaluate that. And I think Sylvain Lefebvre is, I think Bill Zito is, and being like, you need to add a guy back there that's more physical. That's a defensive defenseman that can get to the shot blocking lanes like you saw with Tampa Bay here tonight, but can get very physical and rub guys off along the wall, behind the net, eliminate plays. Our bottom pairing isn't doing that. Teams are cycling the puck. Ekblad, Forsling get out there. They're not being physical. You can argue, hey, have they been worn down from all this extra hockey? But they're not arguably, like, to me, and not even arguably, they're not a physical pairing. And they're trying to make Ekblad into that, but he never was that. He was an exceptional status offensive defenseman, and they're saying he's restructured his game, reconstructed his game. He's never going to play like that. He has certain nights where he plays with bite, but he doesn't bring it in a night in, night out basis. I don't think he ever will over the duration of his career. And that could be because that's his mindset. That could also be because all the injuries he's accumulated. He's like, I'm not going to put my body and risk my body there. And even a guy like Mikkola this year, he's played a little bit softer, more skill-based, jumping plays. He's not being physical at times either. So if it's coming from Seth Jones, that's a big concern to me, Banksy. I think that needs to be addressed.
It definitely does. I mean, you and I have talked about it, with Kulikov out, him being the glue and the guy, he can throw sandpaper. He can jump in on a play. I mean, he's not going to score a lot, but at least he's been, capable of being a steady defenseman back there and allowing his partner to do what they need to do. Mikola this year, again, as you said, he's been soft. I think he's been rushing up a little bit too much, and I think he's almost in a way preserving himself, because if he keeps laying on hits and the Panthers take another injury, then they're in a world of hurt. And I don't even know how they replace him. I mean, are you going to put Balinskis with Sabrango? Are you going to call Benning up? Like, what is the Panthers' plan if another defenseman goes down? And that's kind of where I'm at with that. And on top of it, if Jones is going to be the most physical, complete guy you have, the conversation I want to have is, well, then was the Knight trade worth it? Because for me, outside of the Cup this season, it's 120% been worth it for this team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think because of the Cup, me and Nick always come back to this. That's always going to be case closed, case shut, that the Panthers win this deal. Obviously, Chicago gets the futures in the first round draft pick, but I think some fans weren't even expecting that with Seth Jones be adding that physical element. I expected the minutes and the minute munching, but it's like getting to such a extreme right now that it does worry me in the regular season. You do make a good point on Mikla. Is he conserving himself a little bit on a hit here, a hit there? I don't think players can do that and go out there and have that complete mindset to that factor. But I think, again, like if there's another injury or something like that, and it's a long season, it's a long grind, certain things where he's not putting his body on the line, like say, going down the stretch or into the playoffs. But the guys that we have in reserve, like you mentioned, Benning and different guys, another skill-based guy, another puck-moving guy. It's like we need a different dynamic and a different shift there, right? And I think it could be coming here in the next week or so. And fingers crossed, and I hope it is. But I just wanted to kind of comment on that defense. I know you've been asking me a lot too, Banksy. Just kind of on our defensive makeup and everything like that. Because in a game like this, I think it's very noticeable when the skilled players of Tampa Bay are getting off, and Gensel and Point and Kucherov. And again, I know we don't have Kachuk, and I know we don't have Barkov, and that does change the makeup of your team up front. But when you're talking about from the back end, you still need to have that dynamic back there and a little bit more physicality. You see where Tampa Bay is going. Whether it proves out to be fruitful or not, they're trying to get bigger and nastier and a little bit more physical and things like that. So I could see Tampa Bay adding some size to their back end on a trade deadline as well, Banks.
Definitely could. I mean, if this, rivalry continues the way it's going right now, both teams are going to need big defensemen in order to, just eliminate each other and, hopefully, take out the Stars or whatever they're trying to do. Maybe Sabrin, doesn't, he doesn't have to be called up, and we have to think that John Cooper's putting him in to be, facetious about everything. So maybe the thought I had when you said that just now, as far as them trying to acquire maybe a big defenseman, the Lightning were the reason why the Panthers had to change, after that last series that they had where, they went to the strip club and, who cares and all that. Panthers' identity changed after that. Now that the Panthers have really taken it to the Lightning over the last couple of years in the playoffs and won 2 cups, maybe they're starting to, get the idea like, hey, we got to change now. We're not the creme de la creme anymore. Florida is, and we got to match them or succeed in where they've succeeded before. And, maybe they are getting tired and we can catch them.
Yeah, and I was surprised it took Tampa Bay so long after the 2 playoff losses and getting to the point where this is now. I thought they were going to do this much earlier. And knowing kind of John Cooper's antics, I'm kind of surprised it's taken this long, right? But I'm like, oh, here we go kind of again, right? But with the Panthers, they changed that makeup of their team up front, adding the Kevin Stanlins, Lawrences, Oposo, just kind of bigger kind of a lineup up front to be able to handle that, forechecking style, physicality and different things like that. And I think the Panthers have to kind of do that now here on the back end a little bit as well. We are going to go to a commercial break here, and then when we come back, Banksy, we can share some numbers and different things like that, and then kind of talk about that stuff. So if you'd like to share some of that with our audience, we'll get to some more questions here as well. I'd like to talk about Vasi as well here, the question I put up on the screen here from David. Yeah. We'll get into some Vasi talk after the break here, so we'll be right back.
Panthers fever is here. Are you geared up? Caneswear in Davie is the place for all your Florida Panthers needs. They have the latest gear for our favorite NHL team. Jerseys, polos, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and more. Caneswear has you covered. Stop by their store in Davie or at pantherswear.com. Again, that's pantherswear.com. wear.com for all your Panthers gear.
And another word from our great sponsor, Jeremy Beckham at Beck Sells FLA. Hey, Panther fans in South Florida need real estate help? Check out Jeremy Beckham with Next Home Treasure Coast. It's a boutique service with a personal touch. Jeremy and his team put humans over houses, working hard for you whether you're buying or selling. Ready to move? Hit up BeckSellsFLA.com. Again, that's BeckSellsFLA.com, or call 772-475-5371 now. You'll be glad you did. And one more thing, and I want to thank as well our guy here today, Banksy, who actually upgraded his membership to gold member. So Banksy will be eligible for this contest, as well as Jeff V the other night. So our 2 new gold members here, you can become a gold member as well. Check further details. Make sure you're on desktop version to join. So just log into your browser. If you're on your Apple phone or Android phone, you're having trouble joining as a member there. Again, gold or silver members will be eligible for the Matthew Tkachuk here. I don't have the ad read in front of me here. We did give away the Sam Bennett to a lucky member here this past week. He just got it in the mail here after Christmas. So when Matthew Tkachuk returns to the Florida Panthers lineup, we will be giving away this Matthew Tkachuk signed Stanley Cup photo. Remember, you got to be a gold or silver member. So you can join today, tomorrow, whenever you can, as soon as you can, because when Matthew Tkachuk comes back, we will be drawing the winner shortly after that. And we want to give a shout out to Les Dunbar at yoursportsmemorabiliastore.com, official merchandise provider of our very own Florida Panthers, Brad Marchand. So he donated these 2 items, and we really appreciate Les for that. So make sure to jump in on that contest here. Thank you for those housekeeping items, everyone, holding us in there. I'm just running everything here tonight, so just give me a second here.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you, Banksy. Trying to do it seamlessly here. Did you want to go over any stats tonight? If you want to share them on the screen or go over them, you let me know.
Yeah, let me share it real quick. So some interesting stats that we have going on here for the game. So I already mentioned as far as the penalty minutes, Tampa Bay had 87, Panthers had 49. So the power plays were definitely in Florida's favor. However, they could not convert, which was the biggest difference in the game. I know that plus minus is not a huge thing we look at unless we're talking about Gustav Forsling. However, if you look at who was -4, of course, it was Sam Bennett, poor Seth Jones, Marchand was a -4, and Verhaeghe was a -3. So some of the guys that you expect to be leading the Panthers, or at least trying to win 5-on-5, were not winning those battles. They were not, being able to out-defend Tampa. I felt that Tampa actually got the best of the neutral zone, and it really played into their game. Now you have Vasilevsky, the goaltender duel, was able to make 24 saves on 26 shots of a 92.3 save percentage. And then you have Bobrovsky, unfortunately, a sub 900 at 87.5. Some people wanting to blame Bob tonight. I do not. He should have had one of them. The other 2, the defense needs to be better and clear the puck out. And that's basically what I got right now.
Yeah, and you can just leave that on there. Okay, thanks. No worries.
Yeah.
I will just
I got you.
switch over here. I think just give me a second here. I do want to get to like the Vasi talk there a little bit too, Banksy. There was a question earlier from David. In the broadcast today, like Randy Moore said, it was Vasi that kind of stood on his head. I get that to a degree, and I thought the Panthers threw good shots, but we missed the net. We didn't take advantage of the power play opportunities. It wasn't like every power play we were throwing 4, 5, 6 shots on goal recorded on him where he was standing on his head. We've seen that in the past. So what's your views there on Vasi? I know Randy mentioned it at the end of the broadcast tonight. I don't think he was the determining factor in this game tonight.
No, I don't. But when you look between him and Bobrovsky tonight, one goalie did make saves when they had to, not difficult saves. And then the other goalie, unfortunately, just, they let goals in when, maybe they shouldn't have at certain points of the game. But I think most of the saves he had were pretty point blank. And as you said, the shots were wide. They weren't getting to him. So Tampa, I think, the defense actually did their job, making him look good rather than Vasi making himself look good. Like
how many shot blocks? Just to jump in there, sorry, Banksy. How many shot blocks did Tampa have tonight? Because I thought they were really in the shot blocking lanes early on, not getting pucks through. And some of that is a combination of the Panthers need to do a better job of that, but I thought they did a really good job in the lanes as well.
I will look that up because that was actually not a part of the box score. I will definitely
for sure. Let me know. And any high danger numbers, if you guys in the chat have those numbers, I appreciate you guys help us out. Now, I just want to get to this comment. I'm going to go through some comments here as Banksy's pulling that up. David, you bring some of that on yourself. I do see some of the stuff you put out there. It's funny. Hey, our very own Nick Levine said it's funny memes there the other day against Carolina. So some of that's brought on by yourself. Hey, I get some of the Tampa Bay bozos as well. I don't really go to my way to like put Tampa Bay. Sometimes I'll put TB or I'll put the opponent or something like that. So they're not even finding my tweets, right? But the great way is to quote tweet the stuff, the Scott Sabrin stuff and different things like that. So my mentions will probably be going off a little bit later tonight, but I think it's a little bit of a give and take there. We're becoming now delusional fans. I'm seeing some polls around like we're getting put in with the Toronto Maple Leafs and Montreal Canadiens. I've seen some of these polls around the NHL. I don't know if I agree with that completely, Banksy, but it's always the comments like you guys don't remember anything past 2-3 years. You guys are casuals, new fans, and all that. I'm like, really? But we're taking a lot of heat now. But I think it's it's the Kansas City Chief thing, right? When you start to win, you get all that blowback and all that. I don't know what your thoughts are on all that, but
Well, I know you and I and a lot of us have been here, since either the beginning or 96 or 99 for me. We've been through the dark years. We've been through all those games. We watched the games. I had to buy a DirecTV pass while I lived in Chicago just to watch the Panthers lose 40 or 50 games a season. And you know what? I would still do it again because it was time that I enjoyed, although the Panthers weren't playing the best. So, I mean, fans are going to be fans. They're going to find any way they can to get under your skin. And, did Florida gain a lot of fans during the the 3 cup runs, I should say? Yeah, and they deserve it. I was definitely around Chicago when they won their 3 cups and how many people came out of the woodwork there and how annoying it was for me. But at the same time, you can't argue that the game wasn't grown in that area, and it's not being grown in Florida now. I mean, they have the freaking Winter Classic now, and they have one before Tampa.
Yes, right.
So who's got the little brother, to kind of, chime into that, back and forth, like who's got the little brother syndrome now? I mean, Tampa's in the past now, Panthers are present and future, and they have a Winter Classic game.
Yeah, and a good point there by Banksy as well. I heard Caesar, I think he was on George Richard's show about a month ago, and I just was going through some old clips there the other day. I like to do that. I fall behind doing my own content as well. And he's like, it's not just important to him, as a local South Floridian. It's like, it's important to Caesar that we're just getting this game. Hey, where was the matchup with Boston, or where was the matchup with New York, whether it be on the road or whatever? Like, we haven't even had this opportunity yet where this team has been good for the last 5-6 years. So it's just finally to the point where we're getting our respect here. And I think at times, and some fans will get mad at me, David, you're probably going to roll your eyes. I mean, this game really overblown. It's one game of the year. Like Paul Maurice said, it's a little bit more fun than competitive, even though we have to get the 2 points. It's a little bit different feel going into it and everything like that. And you can't really sell the guys on that it's not different, because it is, right? But again, like, having this game is really important to grow not just the fan base now, but like the future fan base moving forward. And a game like this might do that. So I'm fine by some of the casual stuff or the different mainstream stuff, because it's going to help grow the game and help down the road. Like, you're not going to see it right now, but you're going to see it like many years down the road, where Banksy, this might be the first time someone tunes into a Panther game, becomes a Panther fan.
Yeah, and I hope this isn't the first time, because they have been in the Cup final for the last 3 years, and if you're a hockey fan, you're tuning into the final. So what I will say is that this is going to be more of a spectacle. It's more for the NHL to, okay, he's 29. Thank you for that. Just proves my point even more about him. But getting back to it, I just think that this game is more of a spectacle for the NHL to show, like, hey, we can have hockey and we can play hockey anywhere, and it does work in South Florida. It's Bettman's way of kind of like, shoving his nose up maybe at the Canadian fan bases, who are calling us now, whatever name possible, just because we've been watching the game for only 3 years. So to me, it's not only about the growth, but it's also showing that the game can be and is able to be adapted here in the United States and also in southern climates.
Yeah, and all the people, obviously me being north of the border my whole life, Canadian,
You're
Panther,
different.
right? I'm different, all that. But it's like if Bettman was favoring the Florida Panthers all along, wouldn't they had this game years ago, Banksy? Wouldn't they have been like wedged in there with a Northeastern team, even knowing this, a Midwest team, like even if it's not a natural rivalry, like a Blackhawks or Red Wings before they were within the division now, and there's not even really a rivalry there anyways with the Red Wings. So like wouldn't they have wedged that in there somewhere, even a team like Minnesota? So it's like it hasn't even happened yet. So I'm just very happy for the fan base to be able to get this game. And I think you're going to be with me covering it on January 2nd for the live stream. So that's going to be a lot of fun here.
No, it definitely will be. Can't find a better way to, I guess, host it or be about it, just because, the last couple of Winter Classics for me have been kind of duds, and it's not because of the teams that are there. I mean, Columbus was able to host one. Where have they been in the NHL for the last 10 years? I mean, they've been competitive, but have they gone anywhere? Not really. It seems like
just to jump in there, very, very mainstream here, what's his name? Bill Simmons, I believe it was, called them the most irrelevant sports franchise kind of in North America and definitely in the NHL, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Remember, that used to be us years ago, Banksy. So they're getting that label now. And like you said, they've already had this hosted or had been part of the Winter Classic already.
They did, and I think that NHL was trying to hit up on the college football thing where it was Michigan or Michigan State versus Ohio State. Sorry, I don't follow college football, but I know at least that's a rivalry there. So, I understand them trying to, make a spectacle out of that. But, Florida Panthers are way different than they were 20 years ago. Everybody could probably say that they know who they are about now, or that, hey, I have seen a game or two of them and they've been fun to watch, or they play hockey the right way. Whether you want to say that's dirty, whether you want to say it's tough, whatever you want to say, it's been exciting for us as fans, not only to see them succeed, but, play the right way, have Maurice come in and really just, in a way, put his fingerprints all over it, and then also pulling back when he needs to, and, really providing this team with a true identity that it never had before.
Yeah, no, really well stated there, Banksy. Put this question up on the screen for you from our member MJK. We touched on Mackey a little bit earlier. If you'd just like to fill him in on what you thought of his game and anything maybe potentially moving forward here.
Mackey had a few looks, but that was about it. I don't like him on the power play right now. I don't like him on power play 1. They need to move either another winger, or they need to be smart and put another center there who's going to actually be in front of the net if they're not going to be able to get Reinhart in the bumper. So to me, Mackey he needs to play somewhere else. And if that's not going to be on Florida's, roster, they need to move him for defensive help right now. That's kind of where I'm going with him.
Yeah, I'm just trying to go through some of our other questions that we have here. Banksy as well. But yeah, like, what's your feelings even a little bit further on like how Paul Maurice and the coaching staff is utilizing? I think he's trying to implement different things. We saw with Jack Devine earlier in the year, got sent down. I thought he was doing some of the stuff that Paul Maurice might have asked of him too, but he was only getting like 7, 8, 9 minutes lower down the lineup. So just kind of your thoughts there on kind of fitting in now within the system and then kind of moving forward a little bit as well.
So I can definitely see that Mackey has definitely assimilated himself to Maurice's system over the last 2 years, and he's gotten better. All right, I don't want to say that he's the worst player on the team or anything like that. It's just I think right now he has some limitations that he's trying to fight through in order to find his game and how he's going to fit onto this roster. We've talked about it. If we go into the playoffs this year and you scratch him, what's the point of that? Like, he needs, number one, to get that exposure so he can, gain more experience. But at the same time, if you have bigger able bodies to, play in a longer series, you're going to do that. I thought he played well in the Tampa series. I think he played games 1, 2, possibly 3. And then Ekblad came back, and I think they put him back up in the press box. But other than that, I think he still has a long way to go. Maybe he'll figure it out. Maybe he'll be like a lot of Panthers prospects and figure it out elsewhere.
Thank you there, Banks. I'll throw another thing at you from Fans Den, another member of ours. Bark on back. We need to sit trace on. Please correct me if I'm wrong there. So we've spoken on this before.
So as far as dropping or sitting somebody, definitely have to sit somebody. But the thing is that they're going to have to look at all the contracts that they have up on the main roster right now, and they're going to have to send some guys down. And I think almost everybody right now, if they were to send down, they would get through. Sabrango, maybe. I think Ottawa would probably like to have him back. But other than that, I think anybody who is on the team or who is not playing right now needs to be sent down to make room for Barkov if, and I say if, he does come back this season.
Yes, big if. And there's a lot of guys on the roster, Noah Gregor, Stanika. Of course, you don't want to lose guys, but there's so many guys that you're going to put down, have to maybe clear and put through waivers. And if you do, like, that opens up more money. And then again, the prorated salary and percentage that opens up closer to the trade deadline and post-trade deadline, which would be Barkov's return date anyways. You don't have to be cap compliant, Banksy, with your roster. It's just your active roster with the guys that you're playing. So you could have Jeff Petrie on the roster, right? Be over the cap. He just can't play.
Yeah, and I think that's more than fair enough. I mean, teams have been getting away with that loophole for years. I mean, you can look at all the Stanley Cup champions over the last 10, 15 years, but Florida's going to have to be very strategic in what they do. They're very smart in keeping Evan Rodriguez because he's been, if not the best utility player, he's been so instrumental in keeping this team together and also fighting his heart out every game. So hats off to them keeping him. And then, you have to start making decisions of who's going to stay up. Is Schwint going to come back eventually? Like, is he going to be here before the trade deadline? We have Matthew Tkachuk coming back. And when is Kulikov coming back? Is he going to be out longer than expected? So, again,
no sex out really long term, according to Nick. He said that in the offseason,
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't see him coming back this season. I don't. But with that being said, they have a lot of moving parts. They have a lot of decisions to make, and it'll be interesting to see what Zito has cooking up right now.
Yeah, all right, we got this question. I've mentioned it a little bit here. Might as well just mention it here on our channel. Might mention it tomorrow night on the podcast. Names, again, the names that I've heard, I've mentioned to you, Banks, a little bit, is Jamie Alexiak and Mario Ferraro. Those are two names for me. Think you can make that cap situation potentially work. Seattle already selling Mason Marchment to Columbus, so I could see the exodus continuing happening there with the Jamie Alexiak. Mario Ferraro, I think, San Jose likes some of the things and elements that he brings to the game, but they do have to look at the long-term viewpoint of, they still want to be young there. Of course, they've got to have some veterans mix in with the youth, but if they're going to sell off certain players and be able to get a second-round, third-round pick, I don't see why San Jose wouldn't do something like that. Could be a little bit cap retention, would have to crunch the numbers again. But again, Banksy, that comes back to waiving certain guys and moving on from certain guys. It doesn't mean Petrie or Sabrango's going in the trade. It could be a separate transaction where they're going on waivers or something like that.
Yeah, and I think I've been big on Alexiak since the summer, actually, looking at all the contracts and basically what his build is and what his game is. And I think he would fit perfectly with what the Panthers are trying to do. He brings the size, he brings grit, and he does have some offensive element, previous in his career, but it's not exactly what the Panthers are going to be looking for. They just need a guy who's going to be able to, again, eat up minutes, has a big frame, and can probably, shot block and also put the muscle on some guys, wear them down a little bit. So, and Ferraro, I think it was this week or last week, said that, hey, I don't want to be traded, but if I have to, I'm not going to stop them, but I do want to go to a place where I can win. Florida's the best place to go to, but again, it's going to be all in what Greer wants for him, and he's done actually a pretty good job over in San Jose. I will say this, I think he's almost done a better job than Yzerman up in Detroit.
Great point by Mario Ferraro there. I forgot to mention that, but yeah, that comment was very interesting. I kind of raised my eyebrow on that one when I saw it. Look at Diehard's comment here. I don't know what weather you're dealing with over the last 24, 40 hours, but I'm at minus 22 Fahrenheit right now with the wind chill, Banksy. So he says a cold front's coming through. He's talking plus 40s.
Yeah.
Talking the minuses. So I don't know how cold you've been up there, in Minnesota there, right?
Yeah, so it's about 10. And we're bracing for about 7-8 inches of snow between tonight and tomorrow evening. So getting plenty of that. So
we could blow some of that from Calgary, from down to Minnesota, down through that jet stream, they call it there, through the Midwest, down through the South that might get down to Georgia there, and to the northern parts of Florida. Hey, maybe the southern parts of Florida, if we can blow it hard enough down there towards the Winter Classic there. That would be
If
great.
the Winter Classic gets like in the 40s and maybe 30s, perfect. They will have no problems having that roof open, and it might be the spectacle they're trying to make it to be then. They won't have to worry about the ice melting or the humidity.
Jack, how's it going? What are you shouting, Jack? I'm trying to get through all the comments here tonight. I'm doing the best. But yeah, that humidity part. Yeah, and like the game at nighttime, I want it to be during the day, but I think it's at nighttime, Banksy, because of the weather. Is that right? That's where they're.
Yeah, the sun will just bring too much humidity, and they don't want to mess with any kind of elements that might make the ice, I guess, not playable.
And delay the game into the evening, and then maybe even worse, where they can't even play it, right? So that's the part there. Unfortunate, because I know a lot of you like the earlier start times and different things like that, especially around the holidays with a lot of you off. But yeah, it's going to be in prime time here. But a lot of eyeballs should be on it as well, where that's kind of scheduled there as well. Yeah, Banksy, anything else? I'm just trying to see if we got any other questions here. We are going to wrap here in a few minutes. Apologies to everyone that if I haven't got through your chat, I haven't been able to sit in the chat there tonight as well. There was some comments on Matthew Tkachuk. Do you want to mention anything on Matthew Tkachuk? I know the deadline for him was supposed to be initially sometime in December. Well, December's almost over here, Banksy.
I think they're playing the long game right now, to be honest. Coming back from the surgery he did, I think they want to make sure that he's 100% to go. He might be sitting out until the Winter Classic. If he does not play, to me, that's not the end of the world. The Panthers are going for 3 cups. And if they can get him to be healthier and at least at 100%, and it makes him lose that game, I'm all for it. He may not want to lose it, but at the same time, Florida's thinking further down the road, and they have to do the same with Barkov.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple of the Road to the Winter Classic episodes. I think it's 3 upstairs right now. I haven't watched it yet, but I think it was episode 2 where they're talking to him and he was showing all his podcast setup and everything like that. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing here, right? We all have to learn at one stage or another how to do it. Hey, I'm still learning, right? But I think he was kind of like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It'll be around that time, but it's very hard to kind of shoot for that date for sure. But there could be potential that is his debut back, but it's also kind of a little precarious going into a situation like that within those elements and different things like that to be your first game back. So I don't know, Banksy. If he wants to ultimately say he's been ready for the last week or two and he's ready to go for that game, fine, which I could see Matthew doing something like that. But if he's not, I don't think he's going to push it either because you don't want to have any setbacks there.
No, if he's ready, he needs to play at least against Montreal. Get a game underneath his belt. Get his body ready for it, and then maybe he plays in it. But I'd be very cautious to put him out in the elements like that, especially after the injury he's had. It just takes maybe one bump or one cut in the ice, and all the surgery that he had done, all the rehab work that he's had done just goes down the toilet, and Panthers are back right where they started at the beginning of the year. So hopefully he's being smart, but we know Matthew. He already knows what he's doing and when he's going to be.
We can let him force the Olympic thing a little bit more than the Winter Classic thing because it's a little further ahead timeline.
Yep.
And he's already doing that because he's already been very verbal with it. He doesn't care if they're playing on the Atlantic Ocean. So I don't think he's really worried about his well-being. And I grew up with a hockey dad that was 1-2 levels away from the NHL. They don't care about their health, My dad's eyes falling out of his head, it's like, that's playing like rec hockey, right? Played in the 70s, right? So again, they're not always they're not thinking about their well-being or their future livelihood, income and families and situations, right? They're just thinking about the now and the then. And that's what Matthew's thinking about. So the team has to come in there and step in a little bit and kind of hold them back. But again, I as a coach, I always wanted players like that you didn't have to hold back. I mean, that you had to hold back, not guys that you had to prod and kind of push and motivate and things like that. So I think, Paul Maurice and Bill Zito love having a player like Matthew Tkachuk there where they're like, hey, let's look at the long-term view here. And I think that's what the team's been doing anyways. And I think Paul Maurice does a good job of that, of always kind of playing poker and 4D chess of what his moves actually are. And what he says to the media isn't always the case. So always playing those games within the games. And I think sometimes fans don't catch on to that. I think fans are starting to now, though, Banksy, because having seen Paul Maurice here for year after year and kind of seeing how other coaches operate. Like, look how Vancouver operates with Jim Rutherford. He'll go on a radio station, the co-GM, I guess you call him in Vancouver, president or whatever. And he'll just say, yeah, we're going to make this trade, or we're doing this or doing that, right? It's like, no, the operations are a lot different here, a lot more coy here. And if you don't think there's not things going on with Matthew Tkachuk's timeline and progress, well, there is,
Yeah, and it to me, it's also a health thing, like privacy for him. Like, he'll be ready when he's ready. He'll disclose what he wants to disclose, and I think the team is also being, very observant of that. And I think they're giving him their opinion, because, like, listen, if we were talking about the Panthers 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago, do you think they had to prod guys to play if they were hurt? Or, I mean, because I think they did.
Yeah. No.
And how things have changed, and we got guys chomping at the bit to get back on the ice to, I guess, not only showcase themselves but also make the game bigger.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you, Banksy. And again, I think tonight we saw with these guys with a 4 or 5 day rest, which has been such a condensed schedule. I thought it was very highly competitive to start the game fast, and it kind of got mucked down with all the penalties and the scrums after. But how the game started tonight, I was like, oh, these guys look fresh. I thought even Aaron Ekblad looked kind of fast on the first shift or two. It kind of changed as the game went along, but I'm like, oh, these guys are kind of re-energized, and you're going to see that from the players that aren't going to the Olympics and the ones that are. It's going to be interesting seeing how they kind of adapt back. Now, guys, I don't want to get into this as we close here. We do after dark on Saturdays. Was not planned tonight with the holidays, with the game here tonight. So at least we just had a post-game show. We'll get into that a little bit more next week with the standings and things like that. But was there anything that you wanted to comment on Eastern Conference race this year, Banksy, while you're here in the wild card race?
It's awesome to watch. Honestly, the parity in this league is, it's not like any other league. Anybody can win it. Anybody can be in the playoffs, except for the Buffalo Sabres. I like what they've done up top as far as putting, I can't even say his name right now, Karkolainen.
Jarkko Kekalainen or whatever?
Yeah, Kekalainen. I like what they did there. They got rid of Kevin Adams, but Buffalo does this every damn year, and I'm not falling for it at all. They go on a heater for about 3 weeks, and then they fall off a cliff. They're going to do it again. They're not going to be in the playoffs at all. But everybody else who's, maybe 5-7 points, within a playoff spot or in between each other, it's exciting to see because every single game right now matters, and they're watching. I mean, Marchand had an interview in between periods. He said, hey, every game right now is important because one game you can be at the top, or if you lose, you can be at the bottom again. So you never know. It keeps things fresh, and it makes it exciting to watch every night.
Yeah, it brings everyone in there, and the league likes that because it has everyone invested in there, and it kind of gives some false hope for some teams. Like I said, Pittsburgh, you see that drop off. You saw them drop all the way out, but then teams can work their way back up, like you mentioned, Banksy, with the 2, 3, 4 game winning, right? So before we do close here tonight, Banksy, a question from our guy Diehard here. I think he means not tour, he means your. But this is our next game, I believe, on the docket. So what is our keys here going towards the Monday night game against Washington?
So number one, you're going to have to control the neutral zone against the Caps. They did that very well last year. And if Florida's going to have any chance playing against them, especially against Tom Wilson and all that, they will have to play the neutral zone the best that they can. And the defense, especially the third pair, I don't want to notice them. Just play simple hockey. That's all they really need to do.
Yeah. No, good point. And I have watched Washington a little bit here. I watched them, I think, last week against Toronto Diehard. And Jacob Chikrin, he could have had 3-4 goals. The local South Florida kid, Jeff Chikrin's son, coached obviously the Junior Panthers program there. He's looking really good right now. He's pushing for a spot in the Olympics. Logan Thompson as well between the pipes there. So again, I think Washington, Tom Wilson, another guy, they're going to have a lot of players that have to play for some stuff here. And I think they're playing some of their better hockey of the year here, moving up the Metro Division standings a little bit with, I mentioned, the aforementioned Pittsburgh Penguins dropping down. New Jersey dealing with the Jack Hughes thing, just recently getting him back here. Dealing with that, we call them the New Jersey Frauds, dropping down that stand. You saw them drop out of the playoff spot there, didn't you there, Banksy? That was surprising. I thought they were going to be in a playoff spot all year, especially with all the injuries in the Eastern Conference. I thought.
Yeah, but they can't get over themselves. That it's always something that's going to happen. And listen, they still have that one guy on the back end that is just he's going to destroy every team he's on, unfortunately. So I will say this about the Caps: Justin Sordiff was their 1C last week against Detroit in the first game of the back-and-back. So he's looking good. He's not scoring a lot, but he's actually making an impression on their team, and looks like he might stick around for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm happy to see him move up the lineup, and I don't think that's where you finish. Where you start is not where you finish. I think Washington will probably address that at the trade deadline. Like you mentioned earlier, I think with the Philip Deneau trade to Montreal, going back to Montreal. So I think Washington is going to look down the middle of the ice to maybe address that come the trade deadline. But we'll get into a lot of that talk. Banksy joining us last year during the trade deadline. That was fun time. So, happy for Justin Sordiff to kind of find a home right now there in Washington. Before we do go here tonight, I just want to let everyone know at the bottom of the screen there, around 30% or so of our audience are not subscribed. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I haven't been in the chat tonight with my moderators putting it on the screen, but I appreciate you, John. Appreciate you, David, putting it in the chat there. Make sure to thumbs up this video right now as you're watching it live and on the replay in the morning. And again, shout out to our boy Banksy for being here tonight, but also good luck to him on the Matthew Tkachuk draw, as he'll be in that with Jeff V and many of our other gold and silver members. So we want Matthew Tkachuk in back here soon because it's going to be anticipation for this draw here. So again, if you want to be part of the Matthew Tkachuk autograph contest, donated piece from Les Dunbar at yoursportsmemorabiliastore.com. Join today as a gold or silver member for your chance to win. Upon his return to the lineup, we will draw the winner for that contest and notify all of you. And if you are a member, gold, silver, or bronze, make sure you reach out to us on our Instagram page at the Cats and Rats Podcast, or myself on X, KJ_Loops, LUPS. We do have some group chats going on there for X and Instagram. So if you don't keep up with your messages, we have group chats there. And as well, all you members, we have our YouTube page here where we have a members only chat, and we have the regular chat as well. We're going to plan to do our first ever members only live show, which is for the members only. And we're planning to do that sometime on January 1st. Details on the time, we'll let you know a little bit closer to the date. If you would like to come on camera and join us for that show, it's going to be our first members only show. Let me know, and you can jump on camera like Banksy is here tonight. We'll go one-on-one, and we'll go around with all of our members and get ready for the Winter Classic on January 2nd. So Banksy, I want to thank you for your time tonight. Anything else? Let everyone know, gold member, promote whatever you want. Go ahead.
So first of all, thanks for having me on again. I know that Nick and Cody are away and they're living their best lives right now. And I'm apologetic to the crowd out there that you guys had to listen to me talk a lot tonight. But no, I'm glad to see how you guys are doing, how much you guys have grown over the last couple seasons. It's beautiful to see. And, I'm always here if you guys need somebody to step in, and, glad to be a gold member finally. My dad would probably laugh at that because that's his favorite movie. But other than that, you guys can follow me on X at Prudentia0. If you're into the whole Instagram thing, I am at Bure1096. But Kirby, thank you again for having me on.
Yes, always, Banksy. It's a pleasure to have you. And check out Banksy as well, and our boy Armando over on the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast network. Make sure you're subscribed over there on Apple and Spotify and YouTube as well. So Panthers fall tonight here, unfortunately, to Tampa Bay Lightning. We will be back Monday. If we're not here on the YouTube channel side, we'll be over on the X side, likely doing a post-game Spaces show over there, which we haven't been over there with our Spaces family recently. We've been doing a lot of stuff over here on the YouTube channel, so make sure to check us out there. And all month long here, heading towards the new year, getting ready for the Olympic coverage, podcast episode on the Winter Classic. So make sure you're locked in here on our YouTube channel side. Make sure you're subscribed to the Cats and Rats channel. Till next time, thank you, everyone. And as always, let's go Cats.
What's up, Cats and Rats fans? If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button before you head out. If you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. And just like always, let's go Cats!